Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector, and today is going to be a recap of the Dallas Card Show, which I attended this weekend. It is going to be a really cool day today. We got Cowboys playing the Eagles later. Who knows what's going to happen? Honestly, I'm still on cloud nine over the Rangers winning the World Series. It's kind of funny. I haven't soaked it in a lot because I was at the Dallas Card Show from Thursday until Saturday, and I'll explain that. But I want to go through a little bit about the show and my thoughts. And this is going to be a long video because I have a lot of pickups. But the intent was for Garrett, who is Card Cutter on YouTube, and Andy. We were going to meet there. We had a hotel. And the goal was to sell a bunch of the stuff from the basement collection, from Dave's collection. There's a lot of bulk sets and junk wax and all kinds of stuff. And so the idea was to go, let's set up and see what happens. I had never set up at a show before as a dealer. I've obviously been to hundreds of shows in my life or whatever, but never as a dealer. And it was definitely a different experience. I mean, there's obviously some obligation to be at the table, attending to the business, whatever part of it. And that was actually a lot of fun. There were some cool experiences, but met so many people that said hi. I got some cool stuff to show. What I feel bad about is it's such a blur and there's so much and I'm really exhausted that I can't keep up with everything. I got some gifts from people and it's terrible, but I can't remember who gave me this, and that's so bad. I get that, and I'm so grateful for the generosity. People gave me some great cards you're going to see in a minute, but I'm drawing a blank. So we get there Thursday. We set up. The show was Thursday at late afternoon. I think it opened at 4. We were allowed to start setting up at 2, and that's about when we got there. First off, total dipwad right here, because I've been to the Dallas show I don't know how many times, and I booked the wrong Marriott. There's a Marriott connected to the convention center where the show is at. I booked one apparently 3 or 4 miles away. It wasn't that big a deal, but it was just like rookie mistake. And so, of course, Garrett and Andy justifiably give me some grief over that. And so we ended up going to the hotel, checking in, going back, kind of setting up. And it was just getting stuff out there. And, people would come by. It was interesting. Wow, just so much stuff that got sold that I was surprised that people were interested in. I think Garrett and I both felt that way. I sold some... We sold well. It was not great. The crowd was very sparse on Thursday. I would call the Dallas show as slowing down tremendously. If you were to say, what's the pulse of the Dallas Card Show? I would, compared to shows that I've been to before, it feels like it's slowing down. There's not just the mania, and not that I really expected that, and it was busy, but it wasn't packed by any stretch. And there were certainly times throughout the weekend, Friday, Saturday even, where it was slow. There were times Saturday was pretty packed during the middle of the day and that kind of stuff, which kind of makes sense a little bit about Friday being slow because the Rangers parade was that day for the World Series celebration. So that didn't shock me too bad. Saturday was okay during the day, but there's definitely some slow times. Overall, I'm pleased with the experience. Again, we met so many people. I thought I would have more opportunities to buy stuff, honestly, and I just didn't have those people coming up to me. In fairness, I did walk around a lot. What's great about having 3 people manning the table is we only had one table. So there wasn't that much to keep an eye on, and the people around us were great helping out and stuff. But if one of us was sitting there, we were good. So usually one or two of us would be out wandering the floor during the day or during the show hours. And so that was fun that we were able not just to have to sit, we weren't just tied to the booth or tied to the table and having to sit there. So that was good. Ended up using a lot of the money. I ended up making enough money to pay for the show, pay for the hotel, pay for the table, all that kind of stuff. And I was able to pick up some great cards. So that was pretty great to not be out of pocket any money. I just sold stuff from the basement collection to buy stuff that I wanted for my collection. It worked out really well. Let's see. The best part, like easily, hands down, best part about the whole weekend was getting to spend so much time with Garrett and Andy. Probably my two best friends in the hobby, and not probably. I have a lot of great friends, but Andy and Garrett are on a different level. They're like brothers, and so we tease each other. When we room together, we just have a really good time together. We have all the meals together. It's just so much fun to hang out with them. It makes it all worth it. Could have not made $1, and I would have been glad just to have the experience of hanging out with them. Let's see, had a kid bring up a collection that had been given to him. His name's John, and John might watch this. So John, you did great showing us your stuff, and we were trying to make a deal for it, but he ended up wanting to keep the cards, and we were like, great, man, keep your cards. That's awesome. So John watches the channel, and so it's good to meet you, man, and all that. So, and then another huge helper for us was Scott, who is Stooks Baseballs, I think Baseball and Curiosities, and can't remember the whole channel name, but Scott was super great. We had this bin of just really random stuff at the table, and he went through it and was like, hey, you might not keep this in this cheap booth, in this cheap bin, basically, because it was like, there was an authentic, and he ended up buying most of the stuff, which was great, because letting him have it for his collection, all the better in terms of being able to buy it. But some real exhibits, when we thought they were all kind of the reprint exhibits. There was a Dodgers team card with Jackie Robinson on it, which was real. 21 exhibits, 22 exhibits. 21 was the first year of exhibits. So I think he got to add some great stuff to his collection and helped us out a lot from just kind of randomly just like, all right, let's just get rid of this stuff, you know? So really, really cool. Let's see, what else? I think that's it for just describing the show. I didn't do any video at the show because it looked like every other Dallas. Honestly, it was, if there was something unique, I would show it to you, but you can go back to any Dallas card show video where I've shown you floor footage and it's going to be pretty much the same. Still tons of tables. It's a big show, no question, but I think it's losing some luster, and that, I don't know if that's really hobby related or if it's, you know, people, it's every 2 months. Are people just getting Dallas card show fatigue? That's very possible. I mean, Dallas Fort Worth is a big place, but I don't know if it needs 6 shows a year of that size. I don't know. Time will tell. Let's get to all the stuff that I used Dave's cards, Dave's dad's cards to buy, as well as some stuff people gave me and a few things that came in the mail while I was gone. So just a huge mail day that's coming, or not mail day, just pickups in general. Stick with me. There's a lot to see. Very cool stuff. Hang on one second. All right, here we go. So I mentioned that we only stayed at the show through Saturday, and you're like, well, why would you only stay at the show through Saturday? Because it went through Sunday, and the reality is we were exhausted. I mean, between walking around and manning the table, and I mean, it was just a lot. And so basically we were like, yeah, we're kind of done. Let's go ahead and go. And we had heard some other dealers grumbling about Sunday and how slow it is, and just, you know. So that made it pretty easy for us to decide to go ahead and take off on Saturday and just get home and have a day to chill out and all that. Here we go. Let's look at some stuff. So first, one of the guys I met was Papa Jim, and it was great to talk to him and see him. So I got one of his stickers, and he gave me as a gift this cool 1953 World Series matchbook, which these old matchbooks are they're just different and cool. And this is like a giveaway to try to win a trip to the World Series. You could, do basically a sweepstakes kind of thing. But that's just different and unique, and I love different and unique, and Jim knows that too, so he gave me that. And Jim, great talking to you here in Stories. That was so awesome. Next up, Garrett spent a very fair amount of time rumbling through the dollar boxes and the value boxes, and there were lots of those. I think Garrett was happy to see that, and he kept finding stuff and bringing them back to me. He brought me a bunch of Gehrig stuff. We got a Stadium Club Gehrig Topps Chrome. I don't even know what that is. I think it's a Topps card, obviously. All this cool Gehrig stuff, an old Upper Deck Gehrig, Murderer's Row. Love this because pride of the pinstripes, the Lou Gehrig Day when he gave the famous speech, luckiest man on the face of the earth. Some nice shine to that. And this is, I think this is 73 Topps. Yeah, 73 Topps, all-time Grand Slam leader. So Garrett just picked those up for me as he was rummaging. And then I bought one of the cards that he had rummaged was this, and I ended up buying it from him. This is from Leaf Rookies and Stars. This is Prime Cuts. This is Roberto Alomar, Hall of Famer. And what I loved about this was the dual, you got a bat and a really cool patch. I think this is numbered to 50. Yeah. I don't know. Hall of Famer. Cool patch card. Yep. Wanted that. So I got that. John Keating was there. I got to see him. Victor, the rookie card specialist, was there. Ben was there from Chasing Cardboard. If y'all saw his episodes from him from down in Austin. I'm trying to think what other. I got to go to dinner with Dr. Beckett and see a bunch of great people there. But John Keating was there. He flew in from Philly, and he had a guy that he was going to buy some stuff from, and he brought him over to me, and I ended up buying this 51 Bowman Bob Feller Raw. I need this card for my 4-decade set, so this will be going off to PSA. I'm kind of putting together a bunch of cards to send off, but I thought this was pretty clean. It's probably going to be a 3 or a 4, which is just fine by me. And I got it for a good price, and so that'll be going off to PSA at some future date. Shows for me are always one of those things where you really I do a lot of impulse buying, and sometimes that gets me into trouble because I buy things multiple times, and I have a few of those, but then I'll just buy impulse things just because. And so I ended up buying these Marvel Universe 1990. I got Spider-Man, who is my guy, and I got this Venom, and Spider-Man and Venom, arch enemies. And these were 2 for $20, so $10 a piece. It's like, all right, you got me. You sold me. I bought those. Then this was another impulse purchase. I saw it. I thought it was cool. I instantly thought of Josh, Rated Rookie, my good friend, and I know how much he loves these, and I just thought this Barry Bonds was awesome. And a Mint 9. I think I ended up paying $50 for this, which is probably overpaying, but it was just cool. I don't have a Barry Bonds PC, but I certainly remember these cards, loved them as a kid, thought it was a really cool insert set, and so die cut, all that good stuff. So ended up buying that, just saw it and bought it. This is a card I've been on the hunt for a while. 1970 Topps Tony Perez. I've needed this card for a long time for my Hall of Fame run, 1970s, and this is a hard card to kind of find. And I saw it in an 8, and I'm like, God, I don't really need an 8 because I didn't want to pay 8 prices, but I ended up bundling it with some other things and made this very fair for what it is, and ended up putting it packaged together and got it. Next up, another dealer I put a package together with, different cards. Brooks Robinson 1963. I didn't have that, so got that in a perfectly acceptable PSA 5. Kind of going backwards chronologically on the cards, not necessarily on when they were picked up or anything. This was given to me by a guy that watches the channel, and this is one of those, for the life of me, I can't remember who did it, and I feel like a complete horse's ass because I can't remember. Please put a comment below so I can kind of start putting pieces together in my brain. But this gorgeous 1953 Bowman color, Gil Hodges. I love this set, need this card. I mean, it's just, look how beautifully centered. I mean, this is awesome. So very grateful for that. Always appreciate people that want to add to my collection. I don't know why people do that, but I do very much appreciate it. This is where, you know, I kind of like, the good news is this is an upgrade. I had this card, didn't realize I had it, and I should know I sent the bloody card in myself in an order not too long ago that I got back, and I saw it, ended up buying it. I got back a 2 on the one that I sent in. This is a 4, so at least it's an upgrade. But I do hate buying cards multiple. It's like, I'd rather spend that money on cards I don't have at all than upgrades. So that was an unconscious upgrade, I guess, on the Casey Stengel. I did not have this one. 51 Bowman, Frank Frisch. 51 Bowman has a couple of coaches that randomly were put into the set. Frank Frisch is one of the Hall of Famers. Bill Dickey is another. I don't have the Bill Dickey yet, but was able to pick up this Frank Frisch PSA 6 for my 51 Bowmans. 4-decade set, another 4-decade card, and last regular slab. Then we'll get to the autos. There's lots of autos, but Bob Lemon here, PSA 3 on the 50 Bowman. I've been having a really hard time with 50 Bowmans. It's like they've gotten very popular for a reason that escapes me. I don't get it, but these have become really popular, and to that end, quite expensive. I think I paid $45 for this, which is overpaying for sure for a 3, but I wanted it, and it's way off center, but I wanted it, so I ended up buying it. Now we'll get to some autos. This is actually an eBay purchase. I bought this on eBay, before the Rangers won the World Series. But even if they hadn't won the World Series, I was like, this team is a special team. I want to start getting some things to make memories of cards for players that played on this team. And Semien was a key ingredient to the Rangers' success this year. And I wanted to pick this up. This is, what is this, museum collection, I guess? Yeah. Archival autographs, number 250. Marcus Semien autos, not expensive. 20-something dollars maybe for this. And I'm going to start getting these. Speaking of that, Rich Klein was at the show, and he was showing me a bunch of stuff that he had picked up. He got this for a quarter in a quarter box. This is John Gray. This is when he was called Jonathan Gray, and when he pitched for the Rockies. He spent a lot of his career with the Rockies. Been with the Rangers the last couple of years. Another important piece to the Rangers World Series success. And he had this. He got it in a quarter box. I said, Rich, I'll double your money. He goes, nah, give me $1. So I quadrupled his money, gave him $1. He gave me this card. I mean, even if, I don't know why you'd fake a John Gray autograph, but for $1, yeah, I'll add a John Gray autograph to the collection for the Rangers contributors. There was one guy that had a bunch, and James was there, Elite Hunters was there, and he pointed me towards a guy that had a bunch of Playing Day era card autographs, and I picked, if you saw my video last week, I guess, I got another Bill White. Well, here's another one. Again, I think he has a really good shot of getting in the Hall of Fame, hopefully this December, but if not, I think down the road for sure. So while this stuff is cheap, I will pick it up, and this was definitely in the realm of cheap. And so I got that 62 Topps signed Bill White. This was another gift. Again, can't remember who gave it to me. I think I'm just terrible about that, and I need to be much better. But Michael Young, one of my favorite Rangers of all time, he gave me this autograph, Michael Young autograph, to add to the collection. So that is awesome. Actually, one of the dealers that was kind of in our little area right next to us had this card. Dusty Baker just announced his retirement. Absolutely going to get in the Hall of Fame. So this Heritage Real One autographs, this is, I guess, from 21. Heritage, on card, 72 Topps design. Love it. It's not an on card autograph of a future Hall of Famer. Yeah, I'll take that. Super cool. This actually came in the mail. Opened it yesterday. So I got the Dick Perez Diamond Immortals set, and I showed that off a few weeks ago. It's in commemoration of the new documentary that's coming out about Dick Perez's life. And there's a bunch of cards. There's not many that can be signed. And so since I'm a Dick Perez guy, I want to get everything that Dick Perez does in a card signed. I was like, well, Steve Carlton signs through the mail. So I sent this off just a couple of weeks ago with, I think he requires $40. That sounds right, maybe. Whatever it was, I sent it. And he cashed my check, signed my card, and so I might be the first person in the world with a signed Carlton Diamond Immortals card. Who knows, but glad to have it. And the autograph looks beautiful right there along his, that's just great. So that's going in the Dick Perez personal collection. This was from a couple guys that I'm friends with, Chris and Paul. This was on Paul's booth. They are great stuff, actually. And this was just, again, one of those impulse pickups. I don't have a ton of Pedro Martinez in the collection, and this price was right on that. I think I paid $40 for this. Pedro Martinez, it's from 2022 Topps, I think, but I don't know what set it's from. It's not chrome, and it's a sticker auto, but it's numbered to 10, and $40 for that. Sure. Easy to plop that money down for me. I showed you the Bill White, the same guy. I kind of put together a couple of cards. Hoyt Wilhelm, 68 Topps. It was $20. Yeah, all day. 86 Topps Rod Carew I didn't have for a playing era card autograph. This is actually an old Carew signature because it's really clean compared to what he signed, how he signs now as he's getting older. But love that. 86 Topps. There you go. Just keep knocking those out. Here's another one. This was a bundling. I was putting some things together, and I grabbed this because it was pretty cheap. And I get home, and I'm like, I got a 77 Topps Gary Carter signed already. And this was cheap, basically, because the autograph is so, like it's bleeding and kind of fading. Bleeding and fading. Never what you want your autographs to do. But this one's slabbed, and my other one's not slabbed, so I guess this is okay, or kind of an upgrade, but it didn't cost me a ton of money, so it's not the end of the world because I bundled it with this card and the Tony Perez. The same guy had the Tony Perez that you saw earlier, 70 Topps, the Gary Carter, and then this. He had this priced at $100, which I think is just fine. Right there, $100. Like, because Nolan Ryan, if you send off to Nolan Ryan's foundation, it's $75. If you wanted an 84 Topps signed Nolan Ryan, it's going to cost you $75 plus slabbings, another 25 to 30 all in with shipping and all that back and forth to PSA DNA. It's actually dual certed, so you got card authentication, autograph authentication. Okay, so I didn't pay $100. I bundled it all together, and I probably would equate this to about $80 that I ended up spending on it. And I don't have a lot of newer Nolan Ryan. I have his rookie, his 69, a 71. So I didn't have anything from the 80s, so I was glad to be able to pick that up. Two more pretty big autographs. This is probably my favorite pickup of the show, is this Nolan Ryan autograph. This is the 91 Upper Deck Heroes. checklist signatures number to 2500. These were pack inserted, and this was the last one that I needed, which is ironic because I love Nolan, but the last one I needed of all these Upper Deck heroes. There's Reggie Jackson and Ted Williams and Hank Aaron and Joe Morgan and Johnny Bench on one. There's a bunch. And so I'm going to do a showcase on these just to show them all off because they were so a big deal when I was a kid and opening packs, and I never saw these, and you never would dream of pulling one. And it's ironic that the last one that I get to kind of complete that project is the Nolan Ryan. And I just love it. Love Nolan throwing the football. So there you go. There's that one. And my last pickup is going to end up being up here on the background. I'm going to have it up for a while because I was pretty stoked to get this. This was walking by a booth, and this card was just laying out, and I kind of asked, what do you want for that gorgeous beauty? And the answer was way more than I thought it was worth or willing to pay. So I was going to walk away, and I'm like, all right. And we just kept chit-chatting about the Rangers and the World Series. And as we kept talking, the price kept going down, and I kept loving that. So I kept talking more. This is from Tier 1, by the way. Dual, it's a booklet card. And numbered to 10 up here. 7 of 10 right there. Beltre, one of my favorite Rangers of all time. Corey Seager, quickly becoming one of my favorite Rangers of all time, considering what he did to bring us the championship. I mean, he was critical. Adolis Garcia obviously was huge, but the reality is team effort. Seager's a key part of that, important cog in the wheel for the Rangers this year. And I love that they're both in Rangers uniforms. This card just screams Mike baseball collector. And so as I kept talking to the dealer, the price kept going down. We ultimately did a flip, and I won the flip and got it even cheaper. So love the patches on this. I would love you guys to guess down below what I ended up paying for this. And it's probably more than you think, but maybe not. Who knows? That's kind of my seeing if anybody's paying attention to the end to see what all I got today. We'll see what everybody thinks. But that is a very cool card for my collection, and we're going to find a place for that to just sit up here for a while because these are hard to store, right? They're big and who knows, but I'm glad that I got this, and that is it, man. As you saw, lots of cool stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I hope you have a good one and keep collecting.